Hello, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Send here in the chat where you are from and if you have watched yesterday's class, because tonight we're going to have a continuation and we're going to continue the DEX measures that we started to create yesterday, and we will create the visualizations in the pages. Okay? Perfect. Hello, Marcin. Hello, Angelo. Great. So let's start. And a few reminders, please. This class is better for you to watch in a big screen. And be sure to watch this class live. It's supposed to be red, the live signal here in the YouTube player. Sometimes there is a little delay between what I'm saying and what you are watching. So please always be sure to click in the live button and to see it red. Okay, very good. Uh, Hello, Vladika. Hello, Zaid, Ashu, Charles, Dennis, Derek, Vlatko, Tabizo, Babsi, Dennis, and everybody. Perfect. Okay. And if the screen gets blurred, please change the YouTube settings of quality. Set this as high as you can. I am broadcasting this with a very good internet speed, so change this in your YouTube player. Okay? And make yourself comfortable because we're going to dive deeper tonight and you will download. Actually, the database is already available for you to download, but you should practice after the class end. Okay, after the class end, you can download the data set on Excel and you can start doing it by yourself. Start from the yesterday's class. Okay. And well, just to remind you, even if you are not enrolled in my complete course, you can still download the database. The link is here in the description. I left the link in all the videos, in the three parts that we are hosting this week. And in the description, you will find two links. One link is for the students enrolled in my complete course. You can access Hotmart and download the content. And for those who are not, you will find the link to my website where you need to register just your email address. Let me show you. You will open this website here. You can register your name and your email address, and then you will download. You will see this folder right here, like this. And then you can download the number 4, the inventory analysis.zip. So you need to decompress this file, download into your computer, decompress, and then you can find the Excel file. It's also available for you the other projects that we have done previously here in my YouTube channel. And we have other projects for you to explore as well. But again, just to remind you, the difference is that this is only the database. And of course, you can download the background that I will upload later, probably today. I will upload because we will start using the background in this class. But if you want the files, the customizable files, if you want to change them, or if you want the Power BI file for using in your portfolio right now, all this is going to be available only on Hotmart, okay? And also these free materials will be available only for a limited time. So let's go for it. And well, I believe you guys already know me. I don't need more introductions. And well, I also believe you already know what are the the main steps of a Power BI project, and you already know the framework that I have created to divide the parts that we will execute for this project, right? And then yesterday we have talked about the data model a lot, right? As we explored more the idea of having a bridge table in this case that we needed. And we started creating the measures. That is the second pillar that you can see here on the screen. And right now we are going to continue doing the creating the measures because we want to create the visualization for the analysis. And right now we will create, let me show you, we will create, just to remind you, yesterday we have calculated the inventory level in monetary amount. Let me change my webcam. So we have calculated the inventory level and the parts in stock in the units. So we have seen that we needed to consider both withdrawal and receipt. And then later we calculated the cost of goods sold, and we started calculating, actually we calculated the DIO, which is the days inventory outstanding. So everything here in the second part, we started using AI to help us, right? And I've got some feedback from you in the WhatsApp group, and thank you for sharing. Everybody who shared their opinions said that they really enjoyed because it was very practical and in the way that they can already start using right now. Some people already use it, the method I taught you yesterday, and it already helped them. So let's continue doing this. And as you could see yesterday, this is a very good time saver, and actually it's going to also help to improve the quality of our work. If we can double check the measures, if we can double check the ideas, the concepts of the analysis we want to do with ChatGPT or any other AI tool, this for sure it's going to be a valid discussion, and it's going to improve our code overall. Okay. Of course, we have seen that it's not always that in the first time we will get the right code, but it's a matter of a conversation with the tool. It's a matter of asking the correct questions, the right approach, and then you can get a very good value from it. Okay, perfect. And then we are going to, let me see, proceed with the turnover in this second part, in this second session of tonight. We are going to interpret the bike level turnover versus the overall inventory turnover. And we're going to check what do they mean, okay? Because these two categories, these two measures, may reveal something that we need to pay attention. Okay, so we're going to do this in practice and you will see. So let's focus now in the next step. Oh, let me see one thing. Yeah, so this is only the beginning, okay, that we have done here and we are doing. And now let's go for the turnover, and this is going to be the end of the first part. And after this, we start the ABC analysis. This is going to be the second part, and it's going to get very, very interesting, you know. So every time you hear the Pareto principle, it's this thing here in that we are going to analyze in the ABC analysis, okay? So basically what we are going to do, it's a Pareto on Power BI. And let's try to make this more interesting, more and faster with AI, okay? So let me open the file. This is exactly the file how we have left yesterday, okay? This is how we have left the file yesterday. This is the DIO for the last 12 months that we have calculated. If you stayed here until the end of the class, you must remember. And If you also remember, how was this experience? In the beginning, I asked for this measure for AI writing this whole measure for us. And you remember in the first try, it gave me a very long code. And then we started to analyze, we started to understand what was all about. And then we could optimize some parts, and it has became just this code that is not that long, you know, it's not that long. If you stop to analyze each part, each variable here, it's not complex. Okay, and then in the end, we just divide the two variables, and we multiply for the period in days. Okay, that's it. Perfect. And now let's continue with the turnover. So I'm going to open again our Exodus GPT tool. This is running the O3 Mini model from OpenAI. This is a model that is only available for the paid account of ChatGPT. If you are enrolled in my complete course, you have access for this tool completely for free. And if you are not, I recommend you to use the ChatGPT, the paid version that you will have access to this kind of models that are better for coding, better at logic overall. Okay, it's going to have a better performance. So let's continue our conversation here with our very good friend ChatGPT. So, hello. Now we want to calculate. You guys remember we want to calculate now the turnover. We want to calculate the turnover. First, no, can 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 we can you create this measure for me? If you need any additional info, please let me know. Okay, so let's check, let's see what ChatGPT is going to answer. Let's start by the turnover formula, right? I haven't talked about it, and I believe ChatGPT will come out with the formula. Okay, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Are you with me? Yes or no? Just a quick verification here. Yes? Perfect. Okay. So below is one way to define an inventory turnover measure. In many cases, the turnover is calculated as the cost of goods sold, the COGS. If you remember, we have calculated this yesterday, right? As we had this conversation with ChatGPT. Here we have calculated the COGS for the last 12 months, okay? So it's going to be the COGS divided by the average inventory for the period. Okay. And, and in our 12-month context, and oh, look, ChatGPT also remembers that we are working with the 12-month context. That is very good. And the measure might look like this. Perfect. Let's see. So we have here the variable to get the max date, the minimum date, and then this is just the maximum minus 12 months. Okay. And then we have here, actually, let me check if it's not missing the month. Oh yeah, it's like this. And then we have the average inventory variable that is very similar. Actually, it's exactly the same that we needed to calculate the DIO. Let me show you. when we calculated the DIO, we had this, that is the average inventory. That's exactly the same variable, the same function using average X. But instead of dividing the average inventory for the cost, here we are going to divide the cost by the average inventory. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Okay. Oh, and of course, here we multiply in the DIO, we multiply by the period of days. In this case, 1 year, 366 days exactly. And here we are not multiplying the number of days. Okay, so yeah, there is the whole explanation here. And well, the code looks fine. The code looks just fine. And let me see, we have here some considerations. Let's check. We set the 12-month window using max and minimum, perfect. We then calculate the daily average using the average X, okay. Finally, we compute the turnover as the total cost divided by the average. Okay, the divide function, yes, perfect. To avoid any issues caused by the division by 0. Okay, and then we have some important considerations. Make sure that the cost of inventory returns the inventory value, usually in dollars. Yes, it is working like this. And the COGS of the last 12 months similarly expresses the cost of goods sold over the last 12 months. Yes, our measures are doing exactly this. Perfect. And also it has called here the exact measure name that we have in our models. You know, now ChatGPT knows our model really well. If you check here, here we have COGS last 12M. That is the name. Okay, so I will just copy and paste on Power BI this new measure. And let's hit enter. Again, we have this error. I believe that is some character here in the middle that it's not accepted by Power BI. Let me just delete and check if we delete this character. Yeah, we still have the code is not the problem. The problem is some character in the middle. Let me open a notepad. I will just paste this text and I will copy it again. Yeah, there is some hidden character here in somewhere that I don't know. Let me delete. I don't know. Yeah, I found the problem. The problem was one character here in the tab, right in the, it was in the average X or in the dates in between, in this space. I just deleted the space and the problem is gone. It was some hidden character here that I have no idea that when we copy the text from ChatGPT here, this happens, okay? But now it's solved. And let's add this measure to our table. Turnover of the last 12 months. Okay, so here we have the list of turnovers for each part number. Okay, we have the list of values of turnover for each part number. So as you can see, the first here are the same part numbers in the two rows, and then we have another one, and the values are the same for these two part numbers. They have the same values here, so the turnover will also be the same for them. Okay, and then if we have, let me see, there is a part number here, the 4.3, that in the last 12 months we didn't have any receipt, any withdrawal, any costs. So the withdrawal here, I'm sorry, the turnover is zero. Okay, okay. And then we have the others, and we have in the total row the overall value, the overall result, which is 0.99. So do you know, do you have any idea if this value is good or not? 0.99. Is this a good turnover or is it a bad turnover? Do you know it? Let's let's ask for help from ChatGPT. All right, I got the results. The measure looks fine. Can you help me interpret the result? What means 0.99 turnover? We have some ranges of turnovers, and we can compare this KPI with other companies. We can do some benchmarking. Okay, it's very useful. 0.99 turnover result means that over the period examined, in this case, the last 12 months, the cost of goods sold was almost equal to the average inventory value. In other words, on average, you sold roughly one batch of your inventory during the year. Okay, so this means that we um, we are almost on the same point of the inventory. We almost sold it all in the last 12 months. It can be improved. It can be improved. This is not the best case scenario. Okay. All right. Uh, and just to test, is it better to make this number higher or lower? What do you think? The higher the better or the lower the better? If we talk about the turnover, we want to have a higher number, okay? Uh, as it says here, a higher turnover is considered more favorable because it means you are selling your inventory more quickly. So the industry benchmark for this, for manufacturing, definitely should be higher than four, definitely higher than four, because this means that it's going to take around uh, 3 to 4 months for you to sell all your inventory, and it's going to, let's say, uh, come with new part numbers every the interval of 3 to 4 months. Okay, this would be better, and that is more common. That is going to be more common for you to find out there. Uh, Give me a benchmarking of manufacturing companies for this KPI. Yes, automotive. When we talk about automotive, automotive is the oldest type of manufacturing, the oldest type of industry that the improvement methodologies has been applied. So we started with the Toyota production system, and later it derived to all these lean manufacturing and lean uh, thinking methodologies. So the automotive is always the benchmarking, okay, is always the highest standard industry. And when we talk about inventory, when we talk about process quality, supply chain in general, automotive should always be the benchmarking, and you will find the highest numbers for it. Okay. So inventory turnover and days inventory outstanding, DIO can vary quite a bit. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, because of course it depends on the type of manufacturing, product mix, and so on. But here it says inventory turnover is often somewhat higher, typically in the range of 4 to 8 times per year. Yes, it's around these numbers. This implies a DIO that might range from about 45 to 90 days. So this means that maximum in 3 months you are going to renew your inventory. Okay. Mm, yeah. So the higher, the better. Okay. So when we have this turnover of 0.99, it's slow. It's slow. Okay. It means that the pace of our inventory renew is very slow. Good. Okay. Yes, Natasha, the indentation is very important when copying code from ChatGPT or any other tool. Okay. Pay attention to this. Yeah. Okay. So we have calculated the turnover, and if you guys remember well, we need to compare the turnover because we have the turnover for the bike level and the overall turnover. Why? Because we also sell the parts for the after sales service. So our our sales here could not be very regular based in the number of bikes. So if we just analyze the whole inventory quantity, the whole volume, maybe it's not going to reflect the reality of bikes that we manufacture, that we assemble. Okay, so we are going to compare the bike and the whole inventory. And how we can do this? Let's take a look in our D parts table. As you can see, in the D parts table, we have some parts like the group 4 that they can be used in many different models. Okay, so when we filter only the 4.1, you can see these are the rims. Let's see also the 4.2, the tires and inner tubes. So these parts are used in all the models. So let's pick one one part that is going to be better to reflect the reality of bikes. Okay, because as you can see, for example, if we think about the frame, the bike is going to be limited in the number of the frames. Let me filter here just the frame. Yeah, here we have, it's the main tubes and joints. Main tubes and joints. So this is the part. This is the part, and that we have in different models. You know, we have one type of main tubes and joints for the bike, the BC 008, 007, and so on. Okay, so filtering based on the part, it's going to be better for tracking how many bikes we are actually delivering, you know, because as you can see here in the quantity per bike, this number of frame is just one. Okay, this set here of main tubes and joint is just used once for every bike. So it's a very good way to track how many bikes we have delivered, we are delivering, okay? So let's compare the turnover of all the bicycles versus the bicycles and other parts included as well, versus only for this part here that is going to reflect the number of bikes delivered, okay? So let's create this measure. Let me check here. We have the turnover, oops, the turnover of the last 12 months. And now we want to create a new one that is going to be exactly the turnover of the last 12 months, but for that specific part, let me get the text exactly. The D parts, main tubes and joints. So I will copy this. Let me open this notepad and I will copy just this exact text. Don't save. Okay. Now we can create the new measure that will be the turnover last 12M bikes. Okay. So we are going to call the same measure that we have used, that we have created, that is called turnover, but we are going to add a new filter in the D parts table, in the part column, and we are going to use quotes to define that specific part, okay? So now let me add this measure here, and we can compare. Okay, so let me see. Overall, we have this lower turnover now. The turnover for the bikes is worse than the turnover for all the parts overall. Okay, so that will be interesting to analyze, and we need to make this clear in our dashboard. Okay, and with this new measure, we can answer this. Okay, that is the interpretation of the bike level turnover versus the inventory turnover. All right, so with this, we have just finished this one. And well, we have all the necessary, I believe, all the necessary measures to start creating some basic visualizations. Okay, and let's do it. Let's start giving life to our report. And for this, oh yeah, I will share with you the backgrounds, right, that we are going to use. And you will also need the theme, the color theme on Power BI that we already set all the colors and the text, the font, and everything for your reports to look like mine. Okay. So let me load this. Let me first save this in the folder. Perfect. Okay. So here in the View tab, we need to click here in this arrow right here, okay? And then we need to check the uh, browse for themes, okay? And then here I have the folder where I saved the JSON file. This is a JSON file, okay? Which has all the information regarding the theme. So, okay, file successfully added. Your custom report theme is ready to use. Okay, I got it. And well, let's now import the background. Let's import this background. Let me get the overview.svg here. I will save in a new folder called backgrounds that I will share with you all these files later, okay? You will receive, if you have downloaded already the data set from yesterday, which is this file only, you will need to access again later to get these new files I am showing you here, the theme.json and the backgrounds. So let's import this overview.svg. Let's do this. Canvas background. If you guys don't remember, you need to click here in a white blank space, open format your page and canvas background, and let's browse for an image. Look, this is in the canvas background. It's not in the wallpaper, okay? So let's open the overview.svg, set the image fit to fit, and then transparency should be 0. So let me set to 0, and here we have. Now, let me delete this table, and let's start positioning all the visuals that we have here. So first I will begin with the slicers. Let me transform the values here of this slicer to be white. And here we have the slicer for the date. It's working perfectly. We can have a slicer for each part. Yes, for each part. I will create the drop-down style. The drop-down. And as you can see, this is not optimal for reading. It's like dark gray. And let me check. Yeah, and another thing I want to change, I don't like this multi-select with control. I don't like this. Yeah, I prefer this. And the slicer header font color is white. Okay, but it's too large. Let's set 10. And the values, the font color should be white, but this happens when we do this, you know? You can't read when you open. So we need to set the background. And now that we have added the color theme file here, we have all the colors loaded. So we can set an interesting color for this background here. Let me check a good color. Yeah, I will get another random color like this. Yeah, better. And we also can Control C, Control V to copy and paste and add here the groups, because as you may remember, we have the parts divided in 2 groups. So let me show you the D parts. The D parts, we have the part name, the part group, and this is the group number. Okay, so I will use the group in the slicer. It could be very useful as well. Let me bring the group. And here we have. Okay, so here we have the list of part numbers. Yeah, we got one blank. This is not good, okay? If we have a blank reference in our values here, it is not good. Why? Because it's showing that in the parts table, in the group column, let me show you the data model, the parts table here in this table, we have some reference with another table that is not being met. And this, I think, at some point will happen to you in your projects. Okay, this you may find anytime. So this means that some part here, there is a part number, or there is a model Yeah, actually, in this case, is related to the part, but there is a part that is not being found. So maybe this part is coming from the transactions or the models parts. Okay, we have this mismatch between the tables, and well, we are going to leave like this for now, and later I will check about this. Okay, so let me reposition. Yeah, as you can see, also here in the part we have a blank value. Okay, right. Until this point, are you with me? Do you have doubts? Are you understanding? We have done this initial part of finishing calculating the measures. We have loaded the color theme and the background that we are going to use right now. Are you with me? Yes or no? Excellent, excellent. Okay, and now let's get back to what we need to do actually. So we need to present the inventory level, the parts, the COGS, the DIO, and the turnover. And all these KPIs, they are very important, as you may know. And all of them we can deploy the analysis by the year, by the months, of course, by group, the group of parts, by the parts, by the bike models. We can do many visuals like this. And I would like to consolidate these important KPIs in some cards, because we can have this straight to the point approach to see how much is the inventory level, how much is the COGS, and so on. Okay, and so let's create the cards here on the left side. We're going to position the cards over there. And for this visual, I want to use this card here, the new card of Power BI. I will use this one. And the first one will be the most important one, in my opinion. And I believe most of you will agree with me. That will be the cost of the inventory, the cost on hand, right? This would be the most important thing to see how much we hold in our inventory. Yeah, so I will just select this cost of inventory. Let's format this visual. Let me open the general tab, background, turn off this background. Okay, and now let's go to the visual part and start formatting this. The arrangement, yes, single row, okay. The style is a card, max cards shown, 3, okay, we don't need to change. Overflow in this case, the paddling, yeah, it's okay. Let me check the next one. Callout values. Yeah, this one is too large. Let's set to 20. The Seagull UI light. Yeah, like this, I believe is more elegant. And the color, I want white, the white font color, okay? And the label could be like a white 10% darker. Okay, now we can't read. We can't read because we need to change the background. So here in the last option, let me show you, we have the cards. So we turn off the background of the card, okay? And also, let's turn off this weird border. That's weird. We don't need this. And yeah, very good. Good. Okay, I am seeing some questions, actually some comments about some people who haven't watched the class of yesterday. Yes, this is a continuation, okay? You can still be with us, you can enjoy this class, uh, because now we are going to use the measures we created yesterday, okay? So you can go back to the other class later to see how we have created all these measures, and in a minute, we are going to start creating a new page, and then you can start watching this new page from scratch, from zero again. Okay. Yes, the cause of blank, there is a value that we don't, there is a row that we don't have a value for it. Yes, exactly. Jabulan. Yeah. Okay, and about this card, for now, we are going to leave it like this. Okay. We can change this change this title here. Okay, so how we can call this? Do you guys have any suggestion on how we can show the label here of the on hand inventory on hand actually? Meanwhile, let me copy and paste. I will just replicate this same card in the other places, in the other positions that we have here. Okay, I will just hit Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Let me replicate. And now it will be a matter of uh, selecting the correct measure. So let's see what you guys are suggesting. Inventory value, yens. Formatting options are quite user-friendly for the visualization. Yeah, it's very interesting because everything you can change, it's available right here. Everything you can change is available here, right? So it's a matter of trial and error, experimenting the different options, turning it on and off and see the result. I really like exploring this, and sometimes you can come up with very nice visualizations that in the first place you had no idea you could do it. It's very interesting. Okay. Maybe there were parts which were not sold or bought. That is why there is blank. My guess is that we have some parts in the transactions, in the F transactions, that we don't have in the D parts, because somewhere in here in the middle, I deleted a few models to make the example more simple. Okay, uh, because it was getting too long, the database, when I first generated it. So maybe there is some parts here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe there is a par number here in the transactions table that we don't have in the D parts. Okay, that must be the case. Well, so the second one, oh, the first one, let me use the suggestion from Jens. Jens said inventory value. So I will just call inv value, or let me see, yeah, invent value, better. And I will add this symbol. Okay. And well, the title is not looking good here because we have the icon, so I need to invert this sequence. This will be in the callout values. No, actually not. In the reference labels, no. Let me see, where was it? Uh, let me check. Where is it? Oh yeah, right. It is in the callout values, and then we have the label position. Let's use the below value. Now it's better for reading. Okay, so we have inventory level. value, sorry. Okay, and then the second one, I want to add the units here. Okay, I want the units. So let me bring the measure first. That will be the quantity on hand. This is the quantity on hand. And let me change, oh, let me also change the, I will just click in the first one and select the format painter to apply this change that I have done in the position here, okay? And then it's going to paste this into the other cards. So it's going to paste the style. Now we are changing the position of the label. Okay, and then this quantity on hand, do you guys suggest another title or can we leave just like this? What do you guys think? And about these callout values, I don't like to use 16K. I want to use the whole value. So in the cards, I want to format the quantity on hand and the, not in here, sorry, not in here, no, it's not here. It's the callout values and the series quantity on hand. Yeah, it's right here. The display units, none. I don't want any abbreviation. Okay, so now I need 1,000 separator. So I select this measure and I select here above the 1,000 separator. So that's it. Now it's better for reading. I can see 15,935. That's it. For the second card, select different measure for the data option. Which measure you're talking about? Shalin, for the files, all the links you will always find in the description of this video. All the links are there, okay? Quantity at hand. Quantity at hand, okay. Amon, thanks for your suggestion. Oh, in terms of grammar, ChatGPT also suggested quantity on hand, and some people also suggested this, okay? I don't believe that is wrong from the grammar point of view. So your suggestion is quantity at hand, okay. Um, okay, so let's leave like this for now. Cost in the third one. The third one, in this row, I want to add the DIO and the COGS. Okay, the first one, I will bring the COGS, and the second one, the DIO. So let me bring the DIO, last 12. Here we can type 12 months. Yeah, like this. Look, I needed to make this visual a little bit larger, wider. So I need to apply the same change in all the visuals. So let me get the exact size. Like now it's 180. And all the other visuals should be standardized. So let me select all of them. General tab, properties, width, 180. So let's make all of them to be standardized. And also let me already align them. So I will select only the visuals of the left. I open the format tab and I will align to the left. And I will do the same to the others here. Format, align, left. That's it. That's it. So we have now the visuals aligned. Let's continue bringing the measures. Oh, I'm sorry. This was the DIO actually is the second one. And I told you that the first one is the COGS last 12 months. And again, I needed to make this wide. Okay, yeah, sometimes it's a matter of trial and error. Okay. No, actually, I will not change. I will just abbreviate this. Last 12M, I think it's very good for understanding. Yeah, we don't need 12 months. Okay. A tip here from Natasha. If you double click on Format Painter, it will be permanently permanent constantly activated instead of clicking one time in one card at a time. Really? Double clicking? Not working here. No, didn't work for me. Okay, so with this we have changed the first four cards. Now let's change this turnover section. Let's change this turnover section. Let me zoom this part. Yeah. In the turnover, you guys remember that we had the turnover for all the parts, and we have also the bike turnover, right? So let's add first the overall turnover, and the second one will be the turnover for the bikes only. Okay. Oh, and there is an option, I believe. Let me explore more this callout value. The label should have the text wrap like this. Yeah, it's better. So when it's too large, it's going to activate the second row. Okay, it's looking nice. Turnover last 12 months for bike, and here in the first one, I will just call it overall turnover. I need to activate the label, text wrap, and now they are on the same level. Just let me change the sequence. Bikes should come first. So both of them are standardized. Okay, well, the other row here, we need to bring the coverage. Yes, when we analyze the turnover, another interesting KPI is the coverage. And look, we haven't calculated the coverage yet. Yes, so let's do it. Uh, so let's talk to our good friend. Perfect. Can you give me the formula of the inventory coverage? Let's see what it's going to tell us. Yeah, we have more than 100 people online. Very interesting. Okay, oh, it's already calculated the measure. So let's see. The coverage is the average inventory divided by the COGS, that is the cost, and divided by the period in days. So we already have all these calculations here, all these we have done in the past. So let's try this measure. Let's try this measure. new measure. This will be the inventory coverage. Well, in my convention, in my names convention here, I'm not writing inventory in all the measures. I will just call inv, okay, inv to make it shorter. Inv coverage lasts 12 months. Okay, so let's hit enter. Well, in this case, no errors. There were no tabs or anything in the middle, so there were no errors. And let's just indent the code in the average X, so everything looks all right, look better organized. And let's see this inventory coverage here. So yeah, we have more than 1 year. Let me check. In simple words, if your inventory coverage comes out to say 60 days, that means that under current conditions, your inventory would last about 60 days before it would be exhausted if no new inventory were received. In our case, we have an inventory of 1 year. We have 1 year, and this number goes in line with the overall turnover. You guys remember that a few minutes ago we have discovered that when we have this value close to 1, it means that it takes almost 1 year to renew the whole inventory. So when we have the coverage of 369 days, it's like almost 1 year. All right, so these numbers are in line. They are reflecting each other's reality. Okay, perfect. And then this is going to be based in, of course, in days, right? Yeah. And let's do the same for the bike, because as we have here, this is going to be like the overall, and here we have for the bikes. All right, so let's do this. And for the bike, now we just need to create a new measure, and this was the inventory coverage. Let me just copy this measure name, and then in the new measure here I will call it this with bikes in the end. Okay, and this is the same concept of calling the calculate function for this measure that we have just calculated, the inventory coverage of the last 12 months. And now the difference is that we want to apply the filter in the dparts table group column. And what do we want to filter is the main tubes and joints. Okay, use quotes. Always use quotes when you have text in your DAX code, and that's it. Now I can bring this measure, and well, here it's not showing any values. Interesting. So maybe we didn't type something correctly, or is it filtered? I don't know. Let me check. Do we have any filter? No, we don't. If I try to filter this column directly here in the D parts, I bring the group. Oh yeah, sure, it was not the group. I'm sorry. This was the part column. Yeah, this is not the group. This is the part column. Yeah. Okay, now we have values. So you can see that this number is slightly higher than the other, as this one is slightly worse than this one. Okay, so they match, they reflect one another. So every time you analyze stock, coverage and turnover are key indicators of how healthy is your operation. Let's fix this data label here, inventory. We can just call it coverage, last 12 months, bikes, coverage last 12 months. Okay. Format painter like this, and the other one as well like this. So it's going to wrap the text. And the first one, I want to call it overall coverage. Perfect. So now they are in line. But now I'm going to ask you, guys, just analyzing this, uh, okay, we can have a good idea of how the situation is, uh, as we have checked about the benchmarking of these numbers, and we have seen that this is not optimal, this is not the best one, the best numbers we could have. And about the inventory values, like do you have any foundation to tell me if $100,000 is good or not? Do you have any foundation to tell me that quantity of 15,000, 16,000 almost items in stock, is it good or not? Do you have any foundation to tell me anything about this? We can only tell if something is good or bad is when we have something to compare with. Sometimes we compare this with a target. Sometimes we compare this with the last month or the last year or uh, any other type of period that we can set. Okay, so only seeing these type of numbers, uh, only calculating this in your dashboard will not help you to detect if you are going to the correct direction or not. Okay, so now we are going to start adding this detail of the comparison with the last year. Okay. Oh, actually, let's do it. Let's create the last month. Let's analyze based on the last month. Okay. Let me see your questions. Is the coverage not the same as the DIO? No, the DIO is a little bit different. I think the formula. Let me show you. Uh, that's a good question because it's exactly the same value here. Or am I mistaken? Let me ask. First, the DIO, we have here the average inventory divided by the COGS multiplied by the period of days. Yes, this one we have done the last 12 months, correct? And the overall coverage, we have the average inventory times period of days divided by the COGS. Here, the sequence, this formula is different, right? This formula is different. The average inventory, this average inventory, let me see, is going to be multiplied by the period of days. This means 366 days only in the end for the DIO. But that's a good question for asking ChatGPT. In my other dashboard that I created, this I have used the overall coverage in months. I have used it in months in the example I created. Now we have used days, so I have just decided to keep it. So I had different numbers because this was a picture of months. So let's ask ChatGPT if it's correct or not. We have the same results for the DIO and the coverage. Is it the same at all? Is there a reason? Yeah, Mohammed, we are just asking ChatGPT. To be honest, I don't know these specifics. about the DIO. I was wondering the same, yeah. In many cases, the formulas you are using are mathematically equivalent. In other words, both measures are calculating how many days your inventory will cover. Yes. So the DIO is the average divided by the cost times the period of days. And the coverage is the average times the period of days divided by the COGS. Yeah, this is not always that will be the same. Let me see. These are in fact in this the same when you rearrange the terms. Both are trying to answer the question. If the current rate of sales or COGS continues, how many days will the current inventory last? That said, some companies might use slightly different definitions depending on whether they use ending inventory, average, or even incorporate the other adjustments. But with the formulas given above, using a daily average inventory, over the same period, they are essentially the same metric. Yeah, they are going to be here the same metric. But let's use then for the months. So we are going to create this different KPI, right? This was what I have done originally. Okay, so perfect. Uh, so let's change the coverage for months. So we can add this other view. Okay, yeah, that was a good point. When I created this exercise first, I didn't try with days for all the KPIs. Well, are you following the logic with me? Thank you very much for the feedback, Jens, Mohammed, and Anun Dawa. So we're going to change instead of the last of days. Let's change for months in this visualization here. Okay. The overall coverage. Let me change just the DAX code. I will keep the same name. And now we have 12.1 months. That is exactly like the other. And take a look, how interesting is this? I have just changed this and the other measure already reflect the change because we have just used the calculate calling the other measure. So this is amazing for maintenance, you see? Very good. Okay, so here we have it's basically the same information, yes. Uh, Nice. And we are able now to create a detail for this turnover. Let's use this space and I will create here a line and stacked column chart. A line and stacked column chart. Let's make this larger here. And I will bring, let's have an idea of how the models that we sell, the bicycle models, are performing in our stock. I will bring the D model models. Okay, and we want to bring the turnover here. Okay, let's change this. Let's add the data labels. And all the values are the same. I believe this is not being calculated as it should. Let me check why. Yeah, there is something related to the relationship when this happens. Let me just first change the x-axis color to white so we can read the modules. Let's turn off the title. And in the y-axis, let's also turn off the values and the title. Okay. Now let me check if all the values are the same. Let me filter one group just to check. Yeah, it's being filtered. The part, if I filter the part, it changes. Okay, it means that the part filter is working. And why the models filter is not working? Let's see the relationship. Oh, this is the table of measures. Let's bring here closer. The models. Here we have the models. We are trying to calculate the turnover. All the calculations related to the turnover, we are using the cost of inventory. That, of course, comes from the transactions. This is coming from the transactions. Oh, yeah. Look, I have used here the model table, the model column, and somehow this is not able to filter. This is not able to filter and to find the correct values all in the other table. Okay, so this is a situation. This is a situation. Do we have any advanced Power BI mind here that knows this solution? Look, we have one table right here, one dimension table, the model column here, that we want to filter. What are the transactions for this model? We don't have the model column in the transactions table. So that's why we can't simply connect the transactions to each model. Each transaction has one par number, correct? Each transaction has one par number, but we can only reference the D parts, and to find which model that means, we need to go all this way with the bridge table that we talked about yesterday, and we finally get the model that this part belongs to. So now we want to go the other way around. Instead of going from the transactions, we want to filter from, I'm sorry, instead of filtering the parts, we want to filter from the model. Any advanced Power BI mind here knows the solution. We need to change this relationship. Okay, we need to change this relationship. Now this is starting to get advanced. I told you. Uh, Now we are not able to filter this, but in your project, in the real life, you will see this type of scenario because this column cannot filter the transaction. So we're going to need to force exactly Alexandros. Alexandros, where are you from? Uh, we Jens, we can maybe add a column, but it will not work because remember, there are some part numbers that could be used in different models. So just one column will not solve our problem. Okay? Just imagine the part number 4.1 could be used in all the models. Do you think your solution would solve your idea? No, it wouldn't. And as Alexandros has suggested, we need to make this connection, this relationship, bidirectional. Okay, so here in the cross filter direction, we change to both. Okay, and then we save it. And guys, now maybe actually, I believe you haven't seen any in my courses any reason. No, we have used this in some classes. Yes, we have already used it, but in some cases, very specific cases like this, you need to change the direction, but I strongly recommend you to not do this every time or very often, because you need to be really sure what you are doing and the impact of this. Because if you change this direction where you are not supposed to change, this will mess up all the calculations. This can create ambiguity in your model, and sometimes it can give you some wrong results when you don't expect. What do I mean by you don't expect? Let me make this more clear. Sometimes, if you change the filter direction to be bidirectional, you can make this filter from here now to travel to other tables, and maybe this can impact some tables that you do not want. Okay, in our case here, let's analyze where this filter is going. Where this filter is going. First, let's check. Let's take a look. Well, here you can see that it hasn't changed the value yet, right? And let's analyze where this filter is going, because you need to check the impact, to check the impact. Oh, and I'm sorry, I changed the D-modules parts to the D-module. I need to change in the other way, because let me make this single again. Yeah, because this filter is already coming from the D module to the D module's parts. And the thing is, we needed to filter from the D module to the D module's parts, and this guy is doing this right now, okay? This is doing this right now. You can see the arrow. And the problem is when it gets here. When it gets here, the filter travels from the D parts to the D modules parts, and we need to change exactly here. Let's change to both, because now the filter can travel from D module to the D modules parts, for the D parts, and to the D parts. Look at the direction. It's going to finally filter the transactions. Okay, so now the filter can travel from this table to this table to this table and get to the transactions. Before this, before, when it was single here, it was coming from here and stopping here, as this was uh, uh, filtered to the right side. Okay, so that's what we needed to change. And well, a new concept for you now, and be very careful when you change this, because now take a look. We have this filter coming from the D parts, and it's going to end here. It's going to die in this table. This filter of model will not propagate to anywhere else. We can be sure about it, okay? And also it will die, it will stop in the F purchase order, because we have also this relationship that ends here, okay? So it's going to be safe to use this solution. But sometimes when you have more tables, this can get more complicated, and this filter can propagate into other tables that you don't want to, and maybe it can give you wrong results. Now you can see that the D modules can filter the F transactions. Okay, are you with me until this part? Yes or no? Let me know. Send here in the chat. Okay, so now we have calculated, and we can see right away the turnover of the last 12 months by each model. We can see it. And we can also bring the specific measure of bikes. The specific measure of bikes. Because maybe, for example, here in the case of Mountain Explorer, when we talk about the turnover of the frame, It's way better than the turnover of the overall parts. Okay, so maybe if you want to distinguish based on the sales, based on the specific assembly of bikes, this could be an interesting analysis. Or if you are just measuring by the whole package of parts of a bicycle, including after sales, you would want to analyze by the Mountain Explorer. Okay, we are going to make this more fancy later. Later, we're going to make this more fancy. Okay, we're going to make this dynamic. And for the title, let's make this the turnover of last 12 months for bike and overall par numbers. When I say PN, it means par numbers, okay? Let's format the legend that is top center. Yeah, could be top center, and the color, well, font, the font color white. Okay, this text, maybe just overall and bikes, like this. And also this data label, let's turn off the background and the value should be white. It's better for reading. Okay, did you guys enjoy this? Yeah, drink water, prof. Thank you. Yeah, so we have done this, perfect. And the upper part that we have right here, I will add the summarization of the ABC analysis that we are going to create. And the other part here, I will add the detail of coverage. Yeah, let's add here the detail of coverage. So we have already calculated the coverage, right? So let's bring a stacked bar chart. No, not a stacked, a clustered bar chart like this. Very good. And we want to bring the models to the y-axis. And here we want to show the coverage. Where is the inventory coverage? Yeah, right here. Very nice. But we need to format this better. Let's use the format painter like this. And just like magic, it's going to adapt. The y-axis, let's make it a little bit wider to fit all the model names. And very nice. We already know that the hybrid horizon is the worst. It's the worst inventory level that we have. And if you take a look at this, the hybrid horizon is the lowest turnover. And the Mountain Explorer here is the lowest, as they are uh, proportional, right? Very interesting. And here, I think it would be also a good idea to add the inventory level. Another chart just like this, but with the inventory level. Let me bring the measure, quantity on hand. Yeah, so we can have this. And I would make a bookmark. If you are enrolled in my complete course, or if you are already more advanced with Power BI, you must know what a bookmark is. I will insert here a new button like this. All right. and I will call it, let me see, style. Let's make this yellow without borders, and the text will be inventory level. So when we click on this button, it's going to show the quantity on hand chart. And when we click in the other button, it's going to show the coverage, inventory coverage. Yeah, that's too long, just coverage. Okay. So we are going to create this. And I will need to activate in the View tab the bookmarks and the selection pane for doing this trick. Let me hide the others that we don't need. Okay, because what's going to happen is when we click on inventory, this one is going to be visible here. When we show coverage, when we click on coverage, this one will be visible here. And for this to work, I will fit both of them in the same place. Oh no, I can't read anything. Yeah, it's just for a moment. Let's align them to be exactly in the same place. Okay, and now I will also need to duplicate these two buttons. I will select them. If you want to select the first one, press Ctrl key and select the second one. You can see that when we do this here in the selection pane, both of them are selected. Okay, so I will position them exactly on the top of the old button. Oh, and let's change the colors now, because the inventory level, when it's not activated, should be gray. And let me turn off this one. The inventory level, when activated, should be yellow, so it's fine. Let me unhide the inventory level from here. And the coverage, let's change this style here for another color instead of yellow. Let's make this orange. But it should be like a different orange. No, let me get this other color here. Yeah, like this. So we have this orange. All right, and let's say to Power BI, how is the coverage when it's turned on? So you can see that here in the selection pane, we can hide or we can show the charts. So I can hide the first one, the quantity on hand, and then we will see the coverage. All right, so I need to select all these shapes that we are seeing right now, okay? Using Control, I will select the inventory coverage, the quantity on hand, and the 4 buttons I have created. And I will create a new bookmark. So I open the bookmark and I add one. In this bookmark, I will hit double click to call it inventory, no, just coverage. Yeah, I will call it coverage. And I need to click with the right button of my mouse and disable the data and only for the selected visuals. I want to disable the data because I don't want to save any filters applied on this bookmark. And only in these visuals here, not in the whole page. Follow me, this will work, okay? And now we need to create the scenario when the inventory level is activated. So let's do this. It will be the opposite. I need to turn off the inventory coverage chart. I turn on the quantity on hand and the coverage the first one, the first button, I turn off. You can also rename this shape here to be the coverage button on, coverage button off, and so on. I will not rename, but you can rename just to, it's going to take more time. So let me show you how it was supposed to be when it's inventory level selected. I need to change the color of the coverage button. Now it's correct. And I can create, this is the state, right? This is the state I want. I can create the bookmark. And again, I need to select all the visuals that we have in this part that we want to apply. These are 6 visuals, 2 buttons to turn on the coverage, 2 buttons to turn on the inventory level, and 2 charts that we have here with data. So now I can add a new bookmark for the inventory. And again, I need to turn off the data and apply only to the selected visuals. So now if I click in coverage, I see like this. If I click in inventory, I see like that. Okay. Now we need to add this action into the buttons. Yeah. Let me hide view. Let me hide the selection and the bookmarks. Yeah. Now I can format and add the action here in the buttons, in the format your visual. This is going to be a bookmark type to the coverage. So when we click here, we see now the coverage. And when this one is disabled, I need to activate the bookmark of inventory. So when I click here, I see the inventory. When I click here, I see the coverage. So now let's change also the colors of this chart. The bars here should be orange for the coverage, and here it should be yellow, like this. Okay? So we have created this visualization. Do you guys like this? Is it complicated? I believe if you are if you are seeing this for the first time, it may look complicated, but once you understand the the dynamic here with the bookmarks, it's going to be easy. In my complete course, we have other examples about this where I do this slower at a slower pace, and you can check it out. Okay. So let me check your feedback. Thank you, Benedict, for your words. Thank you very much. Yes, you can practice, you can rewatch the videos for a while, you can practice a lot. Thank you. Okay, yes, this will be useful for you to practice later. You can come back to the video and watch it again. It's going to be important. Yeah. Very interesting. So, guys, you are seeing the level of the job we are delivering now. It's this is not for everybody out there who is using Power BI and not following a method, right? So here we are trying to follow the best method and the best way I could deliver this that I could figure out. And trust me, follow this process and you are going to elevate your abilities to deliver data visualization at the highest level. Okay, let's do it together. Perfect. So now we have done this first overview. This is our overview page. Let me double click here. Let's call it overview. And we have the basic KPIs. We still haven't added here the comparison. We want to compare this with the month over month variation, right? So let me check here one thing. Yeah, let's do this right now. Let's do this right now because the ABC part, the Pareto part, I think we are going to finish tomorrow. Okay. as we have reached 1 hour 40. And very interesting, we have all the measures right here. Let's organize this. Let's make this more organized. I will just open here. Unfortunately, this thing that we are going to do now to organize into folders, the measures, it's only available here in the model view, okay? And here in the model view, I'm going to create a new folder to organize them. If you try to click here with the right button of your mouse, you can't see any new folder option. There is no new folder, okay? So there is something here in the properties that it's hidden. And then you can see the display folder. So let's call this the inventory measures, okay? So now we can select all the measures and send them inside the inventory folder. So now we start to organize them because I can add here a new measure, for example, a new measure, and we're going to create now the texts. So to create the texts, I will just one simple test here. I want to create a new folder for all the text measures that I will call texts here, okay? So now you can see here texts. And then we are going to have the text for the KPIs. We're going to have the text for any other charts that we want to create a custom title, for example, so you can better organize it, okay, like this. Perfect. So in this text, we want to analyze, we want to calculate here the month over month value, right? So when we call the month over month value, we need to bring, for example, let's suppose that this inventory level, I will just do one quick example manually. Let's simulate 1 month before 31st of March. Let's check here. It's not exactly 1 month, but it's the last day of February. We had $95,000. And well, let me change this instead of case. I don't like case, right? Like this. In the callout values, series, inventory value, display units, none. I want to see the full value, yeah, like this. So the value was 95,287 in the last day of February. So after 1 month, let's put exactly 1 month here, 28. Okay, so this value we were supposed to see like this. It was 95,287 minus this one. Let me see in the calculator. Minus 95,287. We were supposed to see here 66,000 actually. 070. Okay, so this was a plus, and we should add also the variation. So let's say that it has this variation here of XX%. Okay, so I would like to have this text in the description of this card right here, so we can have this idea of the direction we are going. Is it going up or is it going down? In this case, going down should be a good thing, right? It should be green. Yeah. Excellent. So now let's try to figure out how we are going to calculate this. The first thing, we need to calculate the month over month measure, right? So if we have the cost inventory measure, we want we want to have this measure here calculated for the previous month. Okay, so let's go to our good friend ChatGPT that is going to help us to save a lot of time. Hello. Now I want to make comparisons with oops comparisons with month over month for my KPIs. Can you help me creating the calculations? I will need the following. Yeah, I will need the. Let's see which ones we need. Inventory value, quantity on hand. All right. Let's ask for the first one first, and then we are going to check if it's in the format we want, if it's correct, and then we proceed with the next measure. Okay, so let's start with the cost inv. I will need it for the cost inv measure. This is for creating. Let's give the context where we are using this. This is for creating the text for my KPIs cards in the overview. So I thought about this format. And now let's give this format here. The month over month, and it's, for example, like this, and yeah, it can understand. So let's see what comes out. Okay, so here we have the measure. To become easier to analyze it, I will just copy and paste in Power BI because it's going to be formatted, okay? So let's check. Right, we have first the current cost. Yeah, but where is the measure? This assumes your current context is set to the desired month. Oh yeah, this is the cost. And then we have the previous cost, which is the calculate of the cost inv, and using the function previous month for based on the D calendar date. Okay, and again, guys, you see the importance of structuring your project correctly. You have a D calendar. So all the measures, as we are using extensively the date intelligence functions of Power BI, we do need a D calendar. If you have a project where you don't have a D calendar, the time intelligence functions will not work as expected every time. Okay, so let's follow the good practices. And then we have here the variable for the difference between the value. Okay, the first one minus the second one. Then we have the difference in the percentage. Let me indent the code. So we have here the difference, and then we have the sign in the text. Okay, and here we have the return with the text, month over month, and then we have the text, the sign text. We have the the formatting of the the value, the difference, and here it sets the formatting uh, options. And all right, so let's see the result. Let's see, there is no error. Let's see how it's going to look like. And to add this text inside this card, follow me. We open, oh, first let me hide the bookmarks and the selection. And now I want to bring the visualization, the reference label. Okay, we want to add the reference label that is going to be the text here, month over month, cost in text. That's it. So I just select this. You can see we have something here, but we can't read at all. But let's format. All right, we don't need a title and we don't need a divider. And for the value, we make it white. Let's make this white. All right, so here we have this number is not correct as it's showing exactly the value for this number, for this month, for this date. So this, I believe, is not correct. The difference value is the current cost minus the previous cost. Yeah, so this means that the previous cost was not calculated correctly. It was not calculated correctly. Now let's try to understand why it was not calculated correctly in the way we wanted. Uh, as we have here the previous cost, I will just bring this previous cost, prev cost. Let's see what's going to return. Yeah, it's returning nothing, returning nothing. Okay, so yeah, let me keep the previous cost here. And well, here in the previous cost, it didn't work, but we can copy and tell it to ChatGPT. As I already have some experience and I also recommend you, my favorite DAX function for manipulating the context of date, let me make this clear to you. My favorite DAX function is the date add. Let me show you. I usually prefer using the date add. I don't usually use this one, the previous month. Okay, so let me bring the date add. And for the date add, we use the calendar date. And then we have the number of intervals that we want to manipulate here in our context. As we want the last month, I will say -1, as I want to manipulate 1 month back. And then comma again, I select that this is a month. Okay, I prefer using this. So let's check if the result will come out. Oh, and yeah, now it works. Okay, now it's getting the correct value for the previous month. And you guys remember that I previously checked. This is the value that I checked before. Okay, this is it. And very nice. And again, if this is something that you still don't know, you need to watch my course. And besides, if you have watched it and you still don't practice too much, you can also send this back to ChatGPT and ask for clues as well. But you see that now this is a foundation is required. Okay, as I want to make this very clear, ChatGPT is like my co-pilot and I am the pilot. You are still the pilot. I am teaching you to use the tool to make the best use and to gain productivity, to enhance the quality of your job, of your projects, but you are still the one in charge. Okay, so for example, with my suggestion here, like for example, I always use date add. It worked. Okay, so you will not be replaced if you can still improve with the tool. Okay, that's what we want. Perfect, perfect. So now we have calculated the previous cost. So I will replace this here in the output as it was the diff value. The diff value was here. And now we have the 6070. That is approximately 6%, just like the value I have found before. Okay, very good, very good. And now you see, we can still improve this. We can still improve, like if, for example, this is something bad, like if you have 6,000 more in stock, this is bad. This is not good. So we want to make this to look bad. Using colors is a good way of doing that. So we can maybe add here in the value inside this reference label, we can add a conditional formatting to make this red, for example, like this. But you see, the contrast is awful. It's very bad to read something in red with this background color. It doesn't work. So what is my suggestion? When you have a background that the color here will not match really well, we can use emojis. Yes, we can use emojis. No, I'm not talking about WhatsApp emojis. I'm talking about serious emojis. So for example, if the diff value here is plus, which means that is bad, we are adding stock level, I will click, actually I will press in my keyboard, Windows point. Let me type for you. You type, actually you need to press, okay, Windows point. And then it will open this window here, okay? And then you have many emojis in your computer. This is available from Windows 10, okay? Windows 10 and Windows 11. And here I will bring the red, circle, and as it's going up, I will bring the arrow up, okay? Arrow up. And in this case, we can delete the plus. Yeah, we can delete the plus. And when it's negative, which is good, we can bring the green circle, and we bring the red arrow, the red triangle downward, okay, to the to down. And let's see the result, how it's going to look like. And yeah, actually, let me see. I would invert this. I would invert. Uh, let's say 1 month when it's positive. I'm sorry, when it's green, to see how it's going to look like. Yeah, take a look. When we lower the level, like in this month, we have decreased the inventory level. So now it's good, and the arrow is pointing down. Let me think about this sequence here. Maybe we can improve it. Yeah. Uh, or maybe we can use another. I think there is another arrow here. Yeah, I believe this arrow, downwards button, actually is not, it's actually a button. It's called button here. This one is bigger, is better for reading. That one was too small. I didn't like. So let's see the result now. Uh, right. So, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I inverted here. The arrows are the opposite. Oops. when it should be upwards when it's bad, and it should be downwards when it's good. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, now it's correct. Yeah, so it went down, so it's green. And now in the current month that we are, March 31st, it's bad, it's going upwards. Okay, do you understand this visual standard we created? What do you guys think? Rate this solution with the red circle and the button, the triangle button. What do you guys think? All right. Yes, you like it, Natasha? Thank you. Great, Amon. Perfect. So let's replicate this to all the others, right? As we have the month over month for the cost, you can see that this is going to follow the same standard for all the other cards. We have the same structure. We have first the current cost being calculated here. I will delete this comment to make things shorter. So you can see, you can spot the the pattern. We have the current cost, we have the previous cost, and we have here all the rest that doesn't change anything, okay? It's not going to change anything. So I will just copy, oh, let me delete this comment. I will just copy this code. And let's go to the next one. This is the quantity on hand. The quantity on hand, we use the quantity on hand measure. So I will create a new measure in the text part, and I will paste this one. And here, instead of cost inv, take a look. We have this text here. Instead of the cost inv that we have here and we have here, we are going to change to the quantity on hand. So you remember from yesterday, the shortcut in the keyboard, I press Ctrl Shift L, Ctrl Shift letter L. And I select all the occurrences of this text in my code. And now I just substitute for quantity, that is QTY, on hand. And I press enter, and now I have this new measure. I don't need to change anything else below, and I can add this measure also in the reference label. That is going to be the month over month quantity on hand. Oh yeah, so now let's bring the format painter to see. No, it didn't work as expected. So yeah, in this case, let's do it manually. Turn off the title, turn off the divider. The value should be white. And that's it. Okay, we have done it. Now let's go to the next one. Let's go for the COGS. COGS last 12 months. So let me create a new measure. I will paste that old measure. Instead of cost inv, Ctrl Shift L, COGS last 12M. I hit enter, and we have the new measure. So now I add the reference label here from the text, COGS. That's it. So now I turn off the title, turn off the divider, the value should be white. Oh yeah, and let me make this font size 10. Okay, let's make the font size 10 for all of them. It's going to be better. Perfect. Now let's go to the next one. The DIO. Let me create a new measure. Instead of cost inv, let's create Control Shift L, the DIO last 12M. I hit enter, and let's add here reference label, text of the DIO. Perfect. Turn off the title, turn off the divider, the value 10, font size, color white. Perfect. You see, now we have created this standard. It's just a matter of replicating this to the others. All right. So guys, uh, the other four cards here is just a matter of repetition. I think I don't need to do it in this live class. And we are going to finish this class at this point. And tomorrow we will create first the ABC analysis. That is going to be a new page here for the ABC analysis. And later, after creating the ABC analysis, we will bring the results here. We are going to consolidate the results here. But first, we need to create this page with all the measures, the visuals here, okay? So we will be able to complete this overview page. So this is the state that we have until this point. I think you have understood well the importance of organizing here the folders, creating the standard for the text, and now it's just a matter of replicating them. And trust me that in your Power BI files, you will start to find many things, many measures that are recurrent. So you will find similar structures in very different types of projects that you can reutilize the same measure. So for example, every time you have this month over month, you can remember, look, I have already done a month over month with Professor Tarcisio. So you come back, you check this code. Oh, okay, that's a calculate. I call this measure that I want to check the last month, the value for the last month, and I use the date add. So that's very simple, you see? And then you start to recognize these standards, you start to replicate this, and that's when your projects are going to start to become very easy, and you just skyrocket all your projects, your deliveries, and your career. Okay, so trust me, follow the process, trust the process, and you're going to start getting more fluent at doing all this, everything we are doing here. Now I'm going to take a look at the questions, and we close this session, okay? Can the button be made red? Yeah, sure. The button you can. Oh, do you mean this button here in the emoji? The emoji, we can't change the color. Okay, this is like a fixed format that Windows delivers, and we cannot change it. All right. Guys, have you enjoyed tonight's session? Are you thinking this is helping you? My purpose here is mixing both AI, all the prompt skills that you need to have. You need to know basically how to communicate with the tool in order to get what you need. Here we want to extract a well-structured DAX code, and for this we have provided the input first. As we have done, we started doing this yesterday. Okay, so now we are exploring the AI tool with getting all this code. Take a look at all this code that we have gotten from ChatGPT. This is amazing. This saved us a lot of time, right? And now you also could see some productivity tips from me, like creating this card. You have seen we have created the text, we have just replicated, and now we are replicating for the other measures. You have seen all these important details related to productivity is also very important, and you will only learn this by doing and by watching some more experienced people, just like we are doing here live. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, Benedict. Thank you very much for the message. Very kind message from you. Thank you, Sumaya. Thank you, Jens, for the all the feedback. You are 100% online in the sessions. Thank you very much. Euji, thank you very much. Do I need to know how to code before I learn the Power BI? No, no, not at all. Okay, you can start little by little, step by step. In my course, I have a very friendly professional track for you to do that. Yes, Tabiso, thank you very much. Thank you, Amon, as well. Thank you very much. And Natasha, thank you very much for all the feedback and always being online, participating in the chat as well. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Lawrence Dimakatsu. Yeah, thank you, Babsi. So, all right, guys, I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to finish the ABC analysis, and I also want to create another page to visualize the whole inventory level across the year, across the period of time. Okay, so I want to create two other pages tomorrow that are going to be very important to analyze the inventory health overall. Okay. Perfect. And we are going to discuss more about how you can use this dashboard and to provide recommendations, provide insights. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much, guys, and I see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye bye. And all the materials, all the links are here in the description. The class is going to be available for a limited time. Enjoy it.